Hello, everybody. TechStack here. Let's get everything started up. I missed yesterday. Was out and about doing a bunch of things. So we're back today. Had a post on Reddit that did pretty good. Was excited about that. Hey, Fusion. How's it going, man? Let's just fire up the mod. Kind of refresh my memory where things are. Last night I worked on it a little bit. Set up some packets, to send information back to the client. That would. I didn't even actually set up clients, so the packet. I set it up a class that would help me do that, right? So I was trying to stage up getting ready for doing the packet back to the client. And what that packet back to the client is going to be is the details of the blueprint itself, right? So we're going to need to know on the client how many of a given block there is that's required. That way we can tell the user, hey, put 16 logs in here for me to work all the way through to the end, right? The way it's set up right now, the tower crane will use whatever's in there and just run and then stop when it runs out. I think that's appropriate, but it would be nice if it somehow said, hey, I need 16 of these up front. That way you don't have to worry about it. Looks like we still got it running so that it keeps going over and over. Hey, Trucker. How's it going? And I need to start stream avatars, don't I? I gotta set my stream thing up so that it starts everything all at once. So this is what I posted on Reddit, right? So this thing being built, because of the way I had it set up on the GIF, I only had like 10 seconds so I could convert from my YouTube video into a GIF. So it got like through the first layer basically on Reddit. But people seem to really like it. It was encouraging. Yeah, it was very positive feedback. When I've posted in the past, people have been excited about some of the other mods or some of the other machines. Like I'll post about the loader or whatever. They'll be excited about that, but then comment, it doesn't fit with the Minecraft look and feel, right? So more tower crane dev. Yeah, more tower crane dev. That's right. It's getting close. Need to make it a little bit more user-friendly from the standpoint of knowing what blocks are going to it, right? So right now it tells us the list of blueprints and we can choose one, but it doesn't tell us anything about that blueprint. Oh, the wife just sent me a message saying, what are you doing? So she wants me to do something. On a stream. Let's up. We'll see what she says in a minute. Yeah, so like I said, let's put that packet or that information I saved earlier into the packet correctly. She says nothing, but we'll see. See if she keeps saying nothing. So like I was saying, in this, I built two methods out, which read and write, one reads, one writes, to the yeah. Read and write to this byte buff, and that's what the packets, the network packets in Minecraft use. So I did this in here thinking this would make it easier in case I have to use this similar information or send it somewhere else. I could, in theory, scan on the client and then send it over to the server. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. You guys are trying to duel? Yeah, you're in YouTube. Yeah, those notifications popping up are not intended. I wanted the sounds from my old restream thing to appear, and that was it. But the notification thing is changed, and now it uses the Windows notification. So, oh wait, yeah. So I have to have the desktop notifications on to play the sound. Whatever. There you go. So Fusion is trying to duel you, trucker, and you'd have to type !accept to accept the duel. Decline. It's just gonna have your stream avatar dinosaurs fight. That's all it's gonna do. That's all. Yeah, so I don't have in mind where we need to send this information, like when we need to send it. That's the part that's confusing me a little bit. Okay, this is funny. I need to open this up. Original. Okay, so over on our Discord, you guys that aren't knowing, CZ makes it has been streaming working on a SpaceX project, right? So he's trying to do Starship, the one they want to send to Mars, and do simulations against it that I don't understand. So he had posted about it on SpaceX Reddit, and I don't know, got a couple hundred, 300-400 upvotes on Reddit on SpaceX, and a terrible PvP. On this tracker, it's kind of automatic. It's kind of random. It's just stream avatar stuff. Anyway, he got 300-400 upvotes. I posted mine. I'm at 1,100 upvotes, and mine was just a GIF of the tower crane. Yeah, SpaceX has a subreddit. R SpaceX. So anyway, he's kind of poking fun back at the fact that I was giving him a hard time that mine got more upvotes than his. So he posted one with very detailed technical information in it. So we want to go to the server. Let's choose this one. We're going to copy this. We're going to call it not entity, but blueprint to client. Blueprint block state to client. Right, take that, save that. Okay, I'm gonna use that name for. I use OBS for now. It's just easier. I can do overlays and stuff with it. It gives me more control, basically. So let's get this name in here. I have some special effects and outro screens that I don't use as much as I should. So, for example, if I go here, there's my outro with some follower information and stuff. Oh, well, that's notification thing's this. It's Restream. I purposely use Restream to make a noise so that I know to look up when someone sends a message instead of being quiet. I don't use Streamlabs OBS. I just use regular OBS. Okay, so this is gonna be what? We're gonna get a block state array, aren't we? Block state. Excuse me. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Block state block blueprint array. Maybe we go. And all of this stuff is going to go away then. And we just gave it a block blueprint array of that type. It's this one. Block blueprint array, we say this. If you have something that'll give me a notification sound without the pop-up, that would be awesome. Because that's really what I was after. I was after a customized one. Before I had special sounds. It was like a real faint chime sound, or like a coin hitting other piles of coins, if you will. But if someone messaged me, so like they put my name specifically in the chat, it would play like a sound of like an arrow hitting. So it got my attention even more. There we go. And then all this, instead of having crazy code in here, becomes very simple on both of these. We just call that other method, and it keeps these nice, clean, and tidy. Don't need any of that commented out junk. Block. The blueprint helper. Block blueprint helper? What's that name of it? Block blueprint. Blueprint helper. Couple too many ears to the knee, yeah. Just like it was one of those things where like if the chat was going real fast, it'd be like chime, 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 thud, right? And the thud just kind of would be a way of, hey, pay attention, extra pay attention, I guess. So we're from bytes, so read get which one was it with the byte buff? Read. Okay, read. Yeah, I thought so. Did I not make it static? Is that what's wrong? I probably didn't make it static. I can't see it from this point in the code. Yep, didn't make it static. There we go. Yeah, terminate, I guess. I didn't realize we still had it running. This needs to be static. Block blueprint array dot read. There we go. And we just say buff, and it should read it. And it should return what we want, which is this. So this dot boop equals that. And here we say block blueprint array. Helper dot write block state array, the buff, and the block state array. There we go. We should name that to state array. What's it called here? All right, it's not. Right, I took it out of this. I forgot. Okay, we'll leave it as this. It's just a name. Then over on our handler on the client, so we've got a packet now. It's got this information on it. One thing I forgot here. So we also need to give it the tile entity location. So public int x, public public int y, public int z, and we will add that to this. We'll just do int x, int y, int z, and this dot int or x equals x. Oops, wrong shortcut. Y and z. And then we'll just say this dot x equals buff dot read int and we'll write that out as well. So buff.write int this.x y and z. Okay, so now in this handler we can do what we need, which is going to be to get rid of all this junk between these. So we are on a client right now. Oh, and we need to modify this part. This part. So it knows the correct type. There we go. We must have an extra set of parentheses in here somewhere. There we go. So for messages not null, which it never really should be, but it's safe to check that anyway. We are going to say message, so we're going to int x, int y, int z equals message dot x. Okay, and then we say message dot get wait a minute, something's up. We've got something off on this one. So where's another one to client? I guess the world would work. We need reference to the world's why I'm looking this up. So the world will be used in this case to look up the tile entity at the location that we've sent to it. So message.get client.world or get minecraft.world. Okay, and then we'll say Minecraft get client get Minecraft .world dot get tile entity at a specific block position, so new block position x, y, and z. Okay, and we'll say tile entity te equals all that, and this te, so if te is an instance of tile entity tower crane, then we can do a cast to a tower crane tile entity type. TETC equals tile entity tower crane. TE, okay, and then TETC dot block blueprint array equals message dot block blueprint array. I should do it. Okay, so what this means is if we were to send it from the server, which we haven't yet, when the client gets it, it's going to look up the tile entity in this location, make sure it's a tower crane, and then set its block blueprint array on it based on this message. Okay, now how are we going to know which clients need this information? Whenever a client comes in range of it would be one thing. Whenever the data on the tower crane changes, as far as when the block blueprint array has changed, so when they've changed to a different blueprint, that would be another way. When it's loaded in for the first time, maybe also send a request from the client, say to the server saying, hey, I need this information. That would be another good way. That might be the best way for the initial stuff. So let's do this. We're going to send this message to the client when it's changed first, and we'll go from there. We'll find the other use cases that we need. That's not the right tower crane we need. In fact, let's close out all others. So we're getting too much open again. When I get too many open, then it gets a hectic to work with. So tile entities, tile crane. In our update statement, no. When we get the file name, no. When we set the file name, we're gonna do this stuff, right? And we're gonna get this block blueprint array here. And I think we need to set or create another method here, public void send data, or send block blueprint array to clients. So I'm gonna make it plural because we're gonna send it to everybody around us, right? And we're not gonna take any arguments or parameters to this method. We're going to do networking or mod network, simple networking wrapper, send to all around target point. We'll do target point, and it's going to be a new message. Myshimod, what was the name of that? Let me grab it off the screen. What was this? And we need the X, Y, and Z coordinates, and then we'll say the message, the state array as well. So this dot, what was that? What class was that? Oh. Bloop. Really? Bloop. What? Simple network wrapper. Send to all around. Target point. What's a target point look like? Just an X, Y, Z in a range and a dimension. Okay. So we say new target. So this dot world dot provider dot dimension X, Y, and Z. And that's gonna be this dot get position dot X like that. Y Z range, I think we said 48 on the other one, so sure. And then we need to fix our part here, so really it's those dimensions again, or those position coordinates. Boop. Boop. And then block blue, what? Block blueprint array. No, you don't like that? There we go. Capitalize was wrong. Okay, so then we take this. We probably also should say this if this is not null. Just to be sure we don't cause any errors. And we're going to send this to clients at the end of this. Okay. Now, if we do all this, it's not really going to show us anything, is it? We'll just have the information available to us on the client. What can we do with that that's simple and straightforward so that we can make some progress tonight on it? Do I still have that other branch available to me? We are on the enhanced branch. The rendering branch was this one, I think. Let's first test what I've got, make sure it doesn't crash. Then we'll commit it to this branch and try and see if we can pull back some of that code from the other one or something. in the other branch and see if we can use some of that. Because what I did was I took a random block, like I don't know, my blasted stone, let's say, I can't remember exactly, but it made it render in the world from the tower cranes render, right? So that we could mock up showing where the blocks are going to be placed. What I think I want to do is have this block blueprint array. We can figure out where the blocks actually should be and place them accordingly then from that array. The problem is going to be the textures and all that stuff, right? And the orientation of it. Awesome, we're not rendering it at all right now. We gotta figure out why that happens sometimes. Tower crane. Pick a blueprint. And away it goes trying to build it. Now, did it cause any errors when we picked the blueprint? So that was on the server, it had an error message. That was the 13 after, that's pretty close to now. Trying to write its state, really. It will not persist. Report this to the mod author. So it had an error in trying to save its MBT data. Huh. Next message code, message coder. So this is the... Oh. We never told it to write that mod or register that mod network. So we need to go into here. Pick one that is to the client. Like that. Change the number here. Be the next biggest number, which would be 17 in this case. Grab our client to client name. So basically what this means is we might have sent a packet, but the game doesn't know what to do with it. Let's quit that. Whip sending packets to the client with info on the block blueprint selected. Gonna commit that. Oh, and push it as well, so we got it backed up to GitHub. And once that's done, there we go. We can go down to this render test and see its history, which was and the tower crane render. We'd added this here as well for a bounding box, really? Oh, we took it out of there and moved it over to that one. Okay. Really? So this isn't what I was thinking it was then. Maybe I had joined them together? Wait, this is probably it. Pushing the matrix, block blue string. Block renderer. Block state to render, where's that coming from? Machine asphalt, here we go. So if we grab these lines, this is the stuff that draws the actual blocks on the screen. And we can put that into our render code, wherever you are. Oh wait, we need to switch back to the other class, or other branch. Render, 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 render. And that should be like after the pop matrix stuff. Boop. Okay, so it's gonna automatically try and do the asphalt always. And this is not in any type of array. We are doing a GL translate somewhere. We are. This should be done somewhere up towards the top. It's not correct. Don't get me wrong. This is not correct. This is not the translation that we need to do, but it'll get us close enough that I can actually work with it and see if I can get this to work at all. this whole section down through the pop matrix, disable lighting, this section here needs to be in a for loop. A for loop that will take 3 different parameters, so 3 for loops. So for, oh, come on, that one, for I. We need to also put this in an if statement. And the if statement's going to be whatever our tile entity is. I don't know if we have that listed out here. Just tile entity. Okay, so we need to cast the tile entity to the right type. Okay, so probably have that done somewhere else in this. Yeah. Let's steal our code out here. Boop. And another one of these. And all of this code goes in the middle, but we're going to do not just I. We need other variables as well. Why did we complain about this variable? Duplicate variable name. So bx, we'll call it. Sure. And then we'll do for by. And for bz. Those are block x, y, z, right? Bz. It's not destroy stages. I'm not sure where it got that from. We'll have to fix that in a sec. So this needs to be if tetc.block state. What? Block blueprint array is not no. Okay, and we're getting there. It's still airing off this, so that should be x. So now we take all of this code, put this in here, and we take block blueprint array dot length, block blueprint array bx dot length, and block blueprint array bx dot bracket by dot length. Okay, and I was stupid and did not do this. That's giving us that error. Okay, and then we take this and put bz here. And that should give us the block then. Then we also need to say GL translate. Just trying to think through how we're going to translate this, because each translation needs to be by the correct amount every time. And when we go, it's gonna be difficult. So the first time through the loop, so I'm just thinking through this first one. So the x-axis, we're gonna move 0 on the first one. So that's okay. But then we're gonna move 1, and then we're gonna move 2, and then we're gonna move 3. So we don't want to do it that way. But also, we're gonna loop through this one multiple times, the center one, right? We're gonna go through z through. So let's say we did one of size 32. It's gonna go from 0 to 31 for 0 on the x and 0 on the y. Then when those increment by 1, it's gonna go from 0 to 32 again. So it's gonna keep extending out the z-axis until infinity. So to fix that, we need to say GL translated 0, 0, 1, and then down here, outside of that for loop, we need to go back by the block blueprint array length to start back at 0 again. Why does it not like that? keep not grabbing that part of it, don't I? Okay. And then this needs to do the same thing, but by that length and not on the z-axis, but here. And this should be 0. And this should be negative. So should this. The real drawback is I don't know if this should be negative or positive. I'm guessing as we rotate our tower crane, that's going to need to be different. And then this will be the same thing, but without the bx in there. So the length of the overall array, and that's going to be in the x position. Oops. What the heck did I do? Oh. It jumped into that one for some reason. Must have double clicked or something. Okay, and then on this we say go in by 1, go in by 1, but on their respective axes. There we go. What we'll also need to do is take into consideration if the x or the well, that should be 1 there, or the y or the z should be positive or negative based on the rotation. So we'll probably have some x, y, z multiplication that we do on either 1 or -1 to determine the correct positive direction for that axis based on the rotation of the tower crane. That was a complex way of saying we'll change this to make it work later based on rotation. The other thing it's going to do is this is not going to be transparent right now. So my understanding of the way that Minecraft draws blocks is that they're either fully transparent or fully opaque or partially transparent. And the transparency is basically all or nothing based on the texture. Setting this color doesn't really do anything if the block is not transparent. So I'm not 100% sure how to make these transparent, but what I could do is instead of making them transparent, make them another texture that makes sense for this, right? So maybe I make them a blue color or something. I would love it to make them a blue transparent color, but I'm not sure I can achieve that. At least with what I know so far about Minecraft. Okay, so we're not rendering it right. That's probably the same issue we had before. Let's do this, and we get a crash, it looks like. Cool. No, it's not a crash. What the heck? Are we just that laggy? So we're rendering 12 billion blocks, or what? No crash still. What the heck? Switch over to debug mode, see what part of the code is running. It doesn't look like anything's messed up. That's not good. I can't click anything. Okay. It's a null pointer exception. Okay, so we need to check the stack as well. So if stack does not equal null, then we will try and do this. Boop, boop, boop. There you go. How'd your stream go, man? I think we're gonna have to kill this. I don't think it's gonna come back for this. Good. I checked it out for a few minutes before I got on here because I was about to stream when you said you were streaming. I seen you were playing Farm Simulator. Okay, copy of 1. Drum roll, please. It's not rendering again, which is concerning. Not sure what that's about. Place it down. Okay, no new errors. That error message there is just we're doing modded Minecraft, saying that we sent too many requests to the servers, Minecraft servers, trying to get a username, blah blah blah. It's just denying us. And that's a crash. That's more useful to me. Now we can get a actual error message. Okay, so block blueprint helper 252. We're writing the metadata based on these lengths. IJ, IJK, really? Wait a minute. We're writing it instead of reading it. Why are we writing it at all? That was some cut and paste jobs right there, what that was. Okay, so we know what the problem was. And luckily it just killed the server so we got the game running, so. Ha 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 ha. I should start the server back up. Well, that was interesting. And we crash again, cool. What now? Oh, it crashed the client this time. Talonity render dispatcher. Okay, that's not us. This is us. BY. I mean, index out of range, really? Because we're basing this on the length of the actual array. Wait, which one? That one. We are saying less than, which is correct. BY, BZ, Y. That should be X there, that's correct. BX, there we go. BX. Add I in there still somehow. That's why we test. Battle Royale. Who shall win? There can be only one. Eagle versus me. Fight! If that works again, I'm definitely calling hacks on you. Pretty even. I'm running for the health. Oh no, I decided to come back and fight you. No. Dang it, we're gonna both... Oh, you got it first. GG. $500 gold, dang. It is hacked, you know. Okay, it's doing its thing. Let's set time day. Time set day. Where are you rendering at? If you're rendering at all. Okay, let's get rid of all the mobs in here too to make it easier to see. So I'm looking up in the air because last time I did something like this, it was building it up in the air. Let's make sure it's getting down in here to this piece of code. It should, but maybe it's not. Please go back to the game. And the game is locked up. And Eclipse isn't telling me that it stopped the code, but it has. There it goes. Just definitely get down in there. Now, is it rendering it funny because of something I'd done? Well, we can go to 0, 0, 0 and see if it's rendering something there. Where are we in the world? TP, whatever this player's name is, tilde. Where are we? Well, we're thousands of blocks away from spawn. Let's get rid of this one. TP this name 0 tilde 0. I immediately moved because I was a derp. Gonna go down to the bottom of the world just so we can see if it's rendering at the bottom of the world for something. I don't think that it should be, but I want to make sure. Oh, okay. Place our tower crane. Oh, we got one on our hotbar already. And go to TS. There they are. It is rendering it. Okay, we might need to check if it's air, it looks like. I mean, it appears to be working. That S is definitely rendering. The T might be rendering. Yeah, there's the T. It's like calling to the sides and all that stuff is a little messed up, but it's kind of to be expected. I'm rendering one block at a time. Okay, let's first get rid of the air blocks. So we're gonna say this block state piece dot is air. No. Air. Nope. Really? It's a block state, not a block. Dot get block. Dot get block. Get block. There we go. If I can type right, this helps. Is air. Equal Minecraft blocks dot air. Come on. If equals. Now you gonna like me? Blocks dot. What the? Like hitting shortcut keys I don't intend to hit. I know this is not the preferred method of doing it, but if it's air, should work for vanilla stuff. I know we should be looking to see if it's dot is air, but we'll get to that in a second. I want to see what this does to us. There we go. Now we're closer. It's like it's not doing the back faces right or something. Don't understand that. It's definitely lined up right though, right? Let's try this. So let's grab our tower crane. Go back up to the surface here and see if we can get it so I don't have to break all these blocks out. So, yes. Doesn't show. Let's check the bottom of the world. It's showing halfway in between. The heck? Was it showing before down there? Or up there? Yeah, see, like the bottom faces of these are all messed up. Let's disable lighting. Oh, it is. Let's not disable lighting then. And that doesn't help. Let's not disable the depth test. No dice. It's really weird. Didn't even turn it back on. That was smart. Blending, disable lighting. Depth mask is false. There we go. I knew there was something we could do. Fix it. Okay, so we can get it to render. Now, getting it to render transparent is the important part, and I don't know how to do that yet. So, obviously we need to render it on the ground too. That's a whole nother thing. The positioning of it overall is... I'm not super concerned, to be honest. We're rendering it at Y, whatever. If I set it to 0, it follows me. So it's up there, and I can never reach it. If I go down, it doesn't go away from me. It's still up in the air the same amount. It's really, really weird. It's like it's relative to my camera's perspective, which kind of makes sense to me, but not a whole lot. So we kind of need to set this down from this location. So Y minus whatever the height of this thing is, and that's probably exactly what it is. I bet if I were to look at my model here... Wait, so we would have rendered this. Did we pop the matrix? We did, and we pushed a new matrix. So whatever we rendered, whatever we translated here in this model shouldn't have impacted it, I don't believe. But yet somehow we're still rendering up in the air. Which is very, very weird. Maybe we push and don't pop another one? Let's take a look. Render. There's no pushing or popping going on here. Wait, there it is. We pop a matrix there and then never translate back. We push, we pop, we don't do anything for these. So all these translations are applying after the fact. So let's push another matrix and pop the matrix, and that problem should go away. It should be on the ground. Come on, really? What? We're doing it somewhere else? Right there. Typo. Really? Translate. Huh. Oh. Let's give it the blocks that it needs to. I want to make sure I didn't screw up the functionality of it. Another brick, and then it's all my bleak ores. So great, I'll have the name is bleak. Excuse me. Well, here, let's do it this way. Boop, boop. I don't remember which ones it needs, and we haven't set up the code that tells us which ones it needs. Okay, it should be moving, but the gantry... yeah, that's what it's afraid of. So because we've done all these translation popping and pushing the matrix, things aren't rendering where they're supposed to now. So let's start undoing it here. Now the rigging's moving with it. The block is not, though. So what that tells me is after we translate it down or whatever, we need to translate it back up then. There's nothing else to undo on this, so it should be back to full functionality. And it looks like it is. So we need to, in the same order, or in reverse order, undo the translations, rotations, and scales in order to put our origin point back to the very center of this fun thing before we render these blocks. Or we render these blocks before we render the rest of the gantry crane and ensure that the origin's set back then. So let's try that path, because that path might be easier to do. So where are we? We need to, on our tile entity render, crane render, we need to take this and put, I'm sorry, we need to take all of this stuff and put it before anything else, basically. And see what it does. Scaling might be off, I don't know, might be upside down. They're underground and they're attached to me. Is that what I see? Yep, they're underground, upside down, and attached to me. The upside down parts probably seems really funny, but it's because of this. Okay, now they are offset in direction from me now. But the further down I go, the more they go up. Right? No, they're centered right there. That's actually a good thing. Now we can figure out where they're actually supposed to be and put them on the ground. Which means we don't do y minus 0, we do y minus 30, let's say. That did not move it. What? Save? Oh wait, it did move it, didn't it? I'll put my cursor right on it, hit T so we can't move it anymore, and say minus 60. Now they're down towards where they're supposed to be. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3 more blocks up, so we'll say 57. Now it's like the scale isn't right there, is it? It's still based on my height, too. We're pushing another matrix inside the other one. So this matrix move is applying to it. The scale should be applying to it, right? And we move those to after our code. Down somewhere. Down here. Okay. So we no longer need to flip it again. It almost seems like it's working. It's not a big impact on performance. At least not one with this size. Apparently we ran out of blocks or something? Why did it not finish? I bet the state got reset when I did something there. So we need to rotate this along the proper axis based on the orientation of this and position it as well. But if I break that, awesome, we lost half the stuff and it's going to be gone forever. $60. Let's set this over here first. I'm going to select that tower TS. Okay. This is facing to the south. I'll put this in it. It is not trying to build it. What is it doing? It's all confused. They don't know what to do. Do we not have the orange stuff in there? I think that's the orange one. No, it's not. Switcher Knight, that's probably the one that fell. Yeah, that's the first one it needs. Okay. So we're actually pretty close for the southern direction. We just need to translate it that way. And maybe one block along the, what axis? X-axis. One closer to 0, which would be a positive one, so we could say 1.5. There we go. And towards the negative Z, we're at 2. It should be out here at 16 negatives, so 18 in this direction. So negative 17.5, I think is what it should be then. Scratch the 0.5. And it becomes 18. Look at that. So half of these blocks are real blocks, half of these blocks are fake blocks. Somewhere there's fake blocks. Those are fake blocks though, because I haven't placed those. So if I break these, you'll see it is the real blocks that are breaking and the fake stuff is showing. Now we're still off by 0.5, it looks like, on this direction. There we go. So these are all fake blocks right now. And the real block can go there. Right over top of it, exact placement. So we have it aligned for the southern direction right now. You're just trying to get that star, aren't you, Eagle? Wait, do we have it aligned? We don't. We need to go the other direction then, so it should be 2. Now we're aligned. Cool. You're probably like in the leaderboard to an extreme at this point. Yep, number 1. Or is that your Twitch one? I can't tell anymore. It's hard to tell now. You got $2,000, man. Let's see if we can get this thing to go again. Time, set, day. I mean, it's working. This tells me everything I needed to know, right? So this shows that the packet is working, it is sending. Let's try the other directions, I guess. Rid of this junk so it doesn't confuse me. So we face this one to the... Oh, it's facing north. I was looking at the wrong thing. So facing north is correct. Okay, so let's try south. TS in it. Again, it seems to be a good one to line up with. Okay, that's where this thing thinks it's going to place. What is it? And I need to break this one to stop confusing me. Okay. And I guess we can use these parts in it. Okay, you're gonna place out there. Why is it so far off like that? That's not making sense to me. That's a bug with our position in the world, isn't it? Because this one's facing north as well. So this needs to take into consideration the placement of the block as well in the alignment of that. Aha. So we need to translate based... Wait a minute, it is. The heck? Are we scaling somewhere and I didn't realize it? No. What the what? So when we're rendering this, because here's our fake blocks right here, I can walk through these. It's based off of the position of this in the world. So we're at, look what I'm looking at. I'm looking at 13 in the z-axis. So if I look at 0 and place this TS, it tries to render it out here, but will it place the blocks out here is the question. What's real and what's not, I don't even know anymore. There. TS. Excuse me, I need your blocks. It's the orange one, the green one, that should be enough. Wait, you're gonna play... The heck? It's facing east. I didn't face it right. So I need to be facing south, so it faced north. Now we can do TS in it. Come on, you can pick up the block now, please. Okay, so that was off by 1. Let's make sure I placed it right at 0 again. I didn't, I placed it at 1. Dang it. That's facing south. That's north. Okay, so the movement left and right is still off, but our X positions, our Z position's correct. You're gonna place out there. You place there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 blocks, which is kind of in line with what we were trying to move it to. Along the z-axis, it's moving 18, so yeah, if you count the block, it's in. Okay. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. But the ghost is here. And that's facing which direction? To the north. And its ghost is only 1, 2, 3, 4 off. But its coordinate is 13. 13 plus 4 puts it there. It's because we're in the negative direction, isn't it? Right? We're looking at 13. We're taking 18 off. And that's why. This seems very counterintuitive to me, but I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna paste that in 3 times. The original, we're gonna comment out. This one we're gonna move like this. Don't know why this is being complicated in my head, but it is, because I can't wrap my head around why this is not working. Does that work? And then we'll say 0 on this one. Whoa. Just minimized everything. Minecraft. It's like you're still rendering in the same spot. Okay. If I do that, it puts it over there on both of them. If I break this one, the close one disappears, and that one that's super far out there is still there. Okay. It's like this isn't translating on relative coordinates, it's doing on absolute coordinates, and that's what's baffling me. Because we should be moving 18 from that prior move. Forget the X, just look at the Z. So we're saying, you know, you're at this coordinate in the world, fine. You're at negative 13, or 13 positive, right? And then we're saying move another 18 from that. So take 18 away from that. Show calculator time, make sure I'm not being stupid. Calc. 13 minus 18 should be 5, negative 5. And that's where we're ending up, not the position we're drawing it at. Like, it should be drawing it 13, it should be drawing it back here, right? Negative, yeah, we're at negative 4, so maybe I got the math off by 1, but it should be back here where it's drawing it, based on going to 13 and then coming back negative 18. And that's just a double, I believe, is the D for that. Yeah, it's doubles. It shouldn't be looking at anywhere else that it is in the world, or anything else. I'm going to move it to translate F just to see if it makes a difference, but I don't expect it to. Translate F being a float. Why don't you say F there instead? No difference, as expected. Oh, didn't like something. What are you airing off for now? Is X, Y, and Z doubles? Is that it? Ah, okay. So we're just gonna cast them to floats. There we go. Didn't move. As expected. So what I would expect is if I did the same thing and placed it there, that's facing north, I can see it in the background there, and it renders it, it's ghost. It should be here, not 2 over, right? And then if I do another one and tell it the TS, it's moved 2 again. What the heck? So if I keep doing this, eventually it's going to catch up with itself. Right? Yeah, it's almost in line with the tower crane. So if I put it here and say TS, it's in line. It's like that scaling of this is different than the scaling of everything else in the world. Hey, Pozo. That's probably exactly what's wrong, too. The scale is off somewhere. That's the only thing I can think of. When we render the model, is it scaling differently? What? No. No. What the heck? We're not setting any scale up here. I'm just setting a scale to 0.5. That's going to mess up the blocks, though. Huh? It's like this world scale is off. Let me look at another one. We do set scale at 0.5 after the initial move. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hey, Fire.
What up?
I'm about ready to pull my hair out.
Uh-oh.
Uh-huh.
What's the problem?
Programming.
Oh, stuff I couldn't even help you with.
Maybe. I don't know. Let's see if this fixes it. I think it might, but I don't understand why it would. Hey, they're relative to each other now. No, they're not. The heck? Yeah! Hey, cool, they disappeared. They're probably underground. Let's go look in our pit. Wait, that's not our pit. Where's our pit? I don't see him. Oh, they were. These should be rendering on top of each other, but they're not. They're twice the distance they should be. Is it because I need to do this? Okay, that puts them back to that position. But what if I took this out? They all disappear. That's probably this. So I'm gonna set that one to 0 so they don't move vertically at all. No difference.
Can the tower crane be placed underground?
It can, yeah.
Ho, ho, ho.
It doesn't actually check its bounds at all, where you put it. Why is there a gap between these?
Nice. Underwater epic builds that I can build on land.
Underwater epic builds you can build on. Oh, I see what you said. Yeah, that's true. You could place it underwater. Now, you can place it there. I will probably check to make sure there's no blocks where you're building, though. So, like, you can place the tower, but the build area needs to be cleared out, I think, in order to make sure that...
Okay, that's still easier to do than...
You're going to clear out the water? Where it's going to build?
It won't replace water?
Maybe if you ask nicely.
Well, I'm saying, I mean, what if in the world even you run across a small little lake that's underground, like I've seen it a couple of times, just barely a couple of blocks under the dirt, and hey, there's a small little lake here.
I mean, you'd have to like build the tower crane in a hole and the water be in a hole. You know what I'm saying? Because like the water won't be on the level with normal flat ground. But
Okay.
yeah, I can make it replace water. It's no big deal.
Thank you, Tech.
Welcome, Fiery. Let's do this here.
Even Eagle wants it.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, but I'm not sure I understand why you want it, but that's fine. I don't need to understand that.
Although, wouldn't it just be easier to only place blocks in spaces that blocks are, instead of replacing all air above and everything?
I get what you're saying. There might be some benefits to doing it that way, actually, but from a player's perspective, right? You could like build a crazy block blueprint one and then overlay a second one over top of it, kind of. I don't know. I have to think about it and see how complex that'll be. Because I need to like specifically look for the air in, or the blocks that are not air in the scanned blueprint, and make sure that those ones and only those ones are air. Yeah. Then I can start building. So right now I'm working on how to make it so that the tower crane can show you what blueprint is selected.
Okay.
And it's rendering out of whack where it should be. So like if I take this scale thing off, I've got two tower cranes placed side by side, right? There's no block difference between these. They are block 1 and block 2. But yet the image that it's showing is spaced out by 1. Like there's a gap between it. So this one's like, let's count them out. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the block. But on the other tower crane, it's 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the block. 1, 2, 3, and it's on the block. If I did another one, it's 1, 2, 3. No, it's 2. So if I did another one from that, it should be 1 by this logic. If I did another one from that, oops, it's in line with the tower crane. That blueprint image, or the ghost of the blueprint here, is lined up with this tower crane. How is that possible? Because I'm saying on all these tower cranes.
How many tower cranes do you have to place before it finally lines back up with where it starts, or where it should be?
It's 17, and I'm shifting it by 18. That might have something to do with it. But I think it has to do with where it's at in the world. It's not actually rendering. So if I put this at 0, I'm looking at block 0, put it here. One of these is it. Must be this one. It's clear out here, right? And like they slowly line up to that point. And I assume if I keep placing more, it's going to be out in front of it now. Yeah, it's out here. So I'm not thinking something through straight in the rendering code as far as manipulating the point where it's drawing things. Because it's past it and gone a lot more. This one's in line. This one's shifted there. This one's in line. This one's shifted there. Going crazy, Fiery. I don't know. Because this should be relative to the last move, not absolute. So if we're at 18 and subtract 18 from it, we should be at 0. If we're at 5 and subtract 18 from it, we should be at negative 13. That's still 18 away. I don't get it. I don't get it at all, man. Math ain't that hard. So if I add 1 to the height, what does that do? It shifts it 1 up in the air, as expected, because it's relative to the last move. So why is this one not giving us 18 difference in distance for all of these? Each one's different. There's something funny getting set somewhere, and I don't know where. We're pushing the matrix. Pushing the matrix again. Okay, let's try not pushing the matrix again. Does that do it? What the heck are these? Wait, where'd they all go? Why can't I see them now? Oh, we're getting GL errors. Because we have an extra pop in here. There, now they should all render again. Oh my gosh! They're still shifted off, funny. That's all I needed to know. So that wasn't the fix. And I thought you could stack those anyway, so. So I've done it in other places. Or nest them, I guess is what I was trying to say. I mean, this isn't a showstopper. We can still progress the mod forward, right? We just can't show what it's trying to build anywhere until we figure this problem out.
Right.
Like, and you've seen how much stuff I've made custom rendering stuff for. I usually know how to do this, right? I am completely baffled by this one. I don't get this one. Let's not even move it on. And that. Oh. The x-axis doesn't move either. Wait, we're putting these all on the same x-axis. Let's try that. Let's move 1 this way and place it. Oh, it's doubling in that direction too. Okay, okay. Let's move this one up 1 and do it. And it's up more than 1. Okay, so it is doubled every way. All the moves are twice what they should be. So if I were to take that into consideration and move it 9 instead, it doesn't make any sense because it's still off by a freaking whole amount. What the heck? It's like the scale is off. But the scale is not off because we've tried that. Wait. That could be it. Maybe it's not set to 1 because... No, that's not it. I'm just trying everything at this point. I don't know what else to do.
Well, that's all this pretty much is in the first place, right?
Pretty much.
I mean, that's like the whole mod.
Just try it till I make it work. Okay, now it's moving relative to me because we're not offsetting it by the right amount, and it's this crazy scaling. It's also showing through the blocks, which is cool, but...
Yeah, that is kind of cool.
We're not doing any GL rotates whatsoever. We're only binding the texture coming into this. This is the renderer, not the model. Oh, please have the ability to destroy the water. Oh, wait, it almost sounds like it's doubling the pairs, but not the singles. Sure. I've tried everything I can think of to make it move by the right amount. All the blocks are in the correct position relative to each other, so editing these translates makes no sense. Or does it? It does. Does it? We're moving 1 extra each time. And that 1 extra is... I might be onto it, guys. I'm sorry this is taking me so long, but I might be onto it. I just need to think this through how to fix it. Because we're moving it 2, then we're moving it 1 automatically before we've even placed the first block down. It's almost like we need to move this after we've placed the first block. But how would we achieve that? Because we need to reset it afterwards. Let's try this. Let's see if I'm correct first, and then we'll figure out how to fix it. Okay, so all of those blocks should be piled up right in one spot. And they are. But there's still a gap between them. If there was no gap in between us, I would say it was what I thought, but it's not. Pop in the matrix, we're translating. We're flipping upside down, basically, because the model's upside down. Nothing big deal. Then we're flipping back. And then we're drawing the item in the tower crane's claw. That's what that does. So where in this does it get the extra move? Or is there any place we're multiplying by the X or the Y or the Z? There's not. We're doing static values, additional and subtraction. So we're taking the X and offsetting it by 1. Let's get rid of that. That we kind of have to have there for now. So that did offset everything by 1. Because they moved into their alternate positions from where they were. We're moving them by 2 as well now. So I'm going to move that by 0. So they moved into their new spots. Yeah. Almost think we should put these. Yeah, let's do that. Let's not have any offset on these at all. We are offsetting by the air blocks, but those wouldn't be there. Let's put this sucker right underneath the thing. And it's not right underneath the thing. Why? It doesn't move if I get further away from it, so it's not relative to my camera view. Is it because we're on... We're looking at 18, 19, 20. What if we put it on the negative side? And say tower TS. You render out there. Okay. You're also facing what direction? Let's keep consistent here. Face them both to the north. We're in the negative coordinate plane, and there's still a gap between them. Okay, guys. I don't think I'm going to solve this one tonight. So I think I'm going to stop the stream here before I throw my computer. And I will pick us back up either in the morning or tomorrow, guys, and tomorrow night, and see if I can figure it out. I'm sure it's something stupid that I'm overlooking. I'm just not quite sure what that is. So this is part of programming, unfortunately, is sometimes you get stuck and you need to walk away from it. That's my experience. You need to walk away from it and then figure out what's wrong and come back to it. You'll look at it from a different angle when you walk away. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. If anybody knows what it is, please message me on Discord. Like the stream, subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'll catch you next time.